Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners, macabre murders and captivating crimes from across the centuries, and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. And this is the first of two special episodes we are releasing for you during the festive season. While Nick and I are on our little festive break from the main episodes and the main runs that we do, we have decided to revisit the first two ever stories we did on the Poisoner's Cabinet.
Yeah, many years ago.
Many moons ago,
ago.
Yes. Those two episodes, obviously, that is the route to this podcast that many of you have come by. Some people search for their favourite cases on the show, but it's one of the most downloaded episodes, episode 1 and then episode 2, which we recorded very close together. Terrified. And because it was so long ago, it was before we even had a format sort of worked out.
We just made up a long one, didn't we?
We did, and it did work out very well. People liked it, and you've all stayed.
Yes, 4 years later, we're still here, so almost 5. So.
But this was something that quite a few fans actually suggested and asked for and said, would we think about revisiting earlier episodes? It's not necessarily that there's new evidence to be discussed, but there are some stories where that would be the case. But in this one, it's just fun to go back.
Our style has changed somewhat over the years. I think we've become slightly more relaxed into it.
Yes, we're more confident.
So yes, I think we know what we're doing. I'll say that. I listened back to about the first 5 minutes of episode 2. And I don't generally listen back to episodes anyway, but it was really weird because we were so sort of quite stilted.
Yes.
And sort of like, and what do I say now?
Yes.
Time thing. And it was like, oh, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's important to have a format for the show. We always knew that we'd have that and have a structure. We've developed that. We very rapidly got the hang of that, I think, for our show. But yeah, there was a lot of, let's discuss. And yes, it is funny. Now is not the time for too much silliness. And then it would degenerate.
Yes.
But yeah, we thought this was a good
now
opportunity.
I can just go, Sinead, shut the fuck up.
Yes. I remember, again, I think we've shared this occasionally on nostalgic episodes where we're looking back over the years, but during the first 10 episodes where we're finding our feet, there were moments where your rage just came out and you didn't know how to channel it. And we were really mean to each other. And people who were new to the podcast, obviously, because it was brand new, were like, why are you so mean to each other? My sister messaged me going, why were you and Nick so angry with each other? It's like, no, this is just us. This is our friendship.
That's how we work through things.
Yes, and that's now people understand it. Oh, it's just them.
It's just how we do it.
It's just them. It's not us furious.
No, and now it's less. I think there's probably less of that now. It's just a resigned.
You again?
God, you're still here.
We're still here. We're still alive. We're an old married couple after a while. Like, God, you're still alive. But the love is still there.
Yes.
Yes, fueled by alcohol.
As all true love is.
This is the first of 2 episodes we're going to do, revisiting. So we'll follow the same format.
Yes.
I've got episode 1. It was my story originally. You've got episode 2, which will be out next week. We've got the facts. We've added more in, if I have.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Tweaked it to
tweaked
do it.
Tweaked it to make it a bit more, in current style.
Yes, inimitable style. As we're on our little festive break, we will be shouting out to all of our wonderful new Patreon subscribers in the new year. When we are back, there will be a bumper load of shout-outs.
Many, I'm sure.
I hope. We hope.
Hopefully.
But thank you to everyone who has subscribed on Patreon, everyone who has bought a Patreon subscription as a gift, everyone who's been with us since we even started that channel. Patreon.com/The Poisoner's Cabinet is the place to go if you want to get more from the Poisoner's Cabinet every week. And during these breaks, we often try and put out a little bit more content. You get extra episodes, bonus material. You got a book club on there. There's just chat. It's a really nice community. There's different tiers available depending on how much support you can give. And really, that's what Patreon is for. It's to support the show and help us to keep doing what we do.
Yes.
I was going to ask you, what do you think's been the biggest change since episode 1 to episode 4 million?
Well, I don't think we haven't changed. There's nothing. I don't know. I don't think there's anything we've changed. Because listening back, we had a chat, and we did the secret ingredient, and we did the cocktail.
Yeah.
And then we did the episode. I think we've just become a lot more confident and much more relaxed about it.
Yes.
And it's just a lot more free flowing.
Yes.
Than it was slightly more. Yes.
Terrified.
Yeah. So I think we just grown into it.
It is very nerve-wracking.
But I don't think we haven't really changed anything. I don't think we've
we've
sort of gone, right, we're not
expanded.
doing that at all. We're doing like this. So there's not been sort of big change at all, I think. It's just developed. And it's just,
have expanded the subject matters, obviously. 'Cause
yes.
It was
Yes.
always poisoning, and then it was starting to go like, oh, should we do murders? And based on what the listeners wanted. Murders and just crazy crimes and weird stuff and everything. But yeah, so the editing's a lot quicker now. Jesus, that first episode took me 8 hours to edit.
Well, it still does when I do. When
you do it.
If I ever edit an episode now, which is very rare, thank God, it does take me sort of 6 hours.
It's the perfectionism, and you're just kind of, and even then I'm listening back going, oh, that was a rough cut, Sinead. What'd you do that for? You know?
So as you whiz through them in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and because just, again, muscle memory now, and all the tools that we have. We got nicer microphones, we've got a nice little setup, haven't we? We started out in like Frog Cottage, remember? Occasionally do stuff at my house when you'd be bothered to come up.
That's a long way to walk. And I'm very lazy.
Well, hopefully we'll do the first episode justice again. Yeah. So, Nick! And again, we like all the catchphrases in the first episode, we didn't have anything worked out. Nothing. We were going, and it was purely by chance when I actually said the next load of sentences I'm going to say. That was a bad way of speaking.
Not the best introduction there. I have to say.
That's not improved, has it?
No.
Yeah. Well, Nick, are you ready to drink cocktails and talk about poison?
Probably.
Or are we going to drink poison and talk about cocktails?
Why not?
Hooray, hooray, hooray. It is my turn for the story this week, and we can't possibly have a story without a cocktail in hand. As you know, dear listeners, every week we choose a secret ingredient that is inspired by the tale that we tell, and it will flavour our cocktail of the week. So, Nick, the original ingredient for this story was a Dundee Cake.
A Dundee Cake, yes, it was.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, I just picked it and went, there we go.
But fair enough. Can't argue with that.
A Dundee Cake. Now, originally, we made the almond martini.
We did.
And it was dreadful.
Was it?
Yes.
I can't remember. It seems like a long time ago. I'm just actually looking at how I wrote up the, what did I say about it when we posted it?
So listening back, I think that was actually a stroke of genius, accidentally. That we had the almond martini and we were being very professional as in like, yes, almonds and yes, what a nice combination. And we tasted it and it was not good. It was way too strong. The alcohol didn't balance out and our reactions are absolutely pure of us just going, oh my God. I think if it had a nice one, day one, then it would have been very genteel and cute. But actually that showed the potential of, what can happen if you have a bad cocktail.
So apparently I put verdict, very strong, like being hit in the face with marzipan. But pleasantly giggly.
Yes, we did get giggly.
So that apparently was the decision on the original almond martini.
It is not one we've ever revisited, and for good reason. No, it was too much.
Yep.
So with Dundee Cake,
Yes.
and your vast reams of experience now,
Yes.
and having exhausted lots of options previously as well,
Yeah.
what have you come up with, Nick?
Well, considering we've now 200 less cocktails that we can make. So this week we're going to have a downhill racer.
A downhill racer?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll find out why.
Will I?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's more to this, isn't there? Yeah.
Hopefully, the episode just stops now.
Downhill racer. Goodbye. That's it. Okay. Normally I row with you about what's that got to do with the ingredient, but I don't feel I should because it couldn't be helped. Wonderful. Okay. Well, I think it is high time for us to slip into the Poisoner's Cabinet kitchen and shake up a storm. So we'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
It'd be interesting to hear from our listeners when we did put in, or maybe we could just check, when did we put in the shaky break for our cocktails? First two episodes, we didn't have it.
No.
We just made stuff and went, drink it.
I'm sure it came along at some point and was seamlessly...
It definitely did.
Seamlessly added.
Yes, there we are. But Nick, we have a... Now, what is it again?
Downhill racer.
We have a downhill racer. It looks very pretty.
Yeah.
You've broken out the fancy little cocktail sticks.
I have indeed, I know, gone crazy.
The ones with the top hats on them.
It seemed like a celebratory time.
It is. Now, this looks very pretty. It's amber. I would say that's an amber colour.
Yeah,
amber colour. I see a garnish of a cherry.
Cherry.
My favourite kind. Ooh, I'm excited. It's got to be better than the almond martini from the first one.
Well, apparently, yes. Apparently so.
That
Not
was
that I
just
remember it. It was a long time ago.
pure alcohol and being hit with almonds. Should we dive in? Have a little taste?
Let's give it a go.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Flavours.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Uh-huh.
Dundee Cake is not served as well.
No, it doesn't.
It really has not.
It sort of goes, ooh, nothing. Ooh, nothing. It's all right. It's not bad. It's not like, yeah. Oh, you're annoyed.
I'm annoyed.
You were all ready for a good one.
I'm annoyed by that.
Oh, okay. Why are you so annoyed?
I know, it's annoyed me.
Well, there's cherries in it. Yay. Okay, second sip. It's fine.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's just a bit disappointing.
It's
Damn the cake. Damn all cakes.
I never said that. I've never thought that. I'd ever say that.
Yeah.
But damn beach cake.
Right, so I have to guess what's in it. So the link to Dundee Cake the first time around was almonds.
Yeah.
Because you have almonds in it. So is there Disaronno in this?
There is, yes.
Right, so they've got Disaronno. And other things.
And other things.
Is there a citrus in here?
There is.
Is it a lemon?
It's not.
Is it a lime?
It's not.
Oh, no. Now I have to do the fruit dance.
Now you have to do the dance
Now
of the
I
fruit.
have to do the squeezing of the banana. Easy peasy, squeeze the lemon. Right, okay. Grapefruit.
No.
Cherry juice.
No.
Pineapple.
Yes.
Ooh, ew. So amaretto and pineapple juice. Right, what else? Is there another liquor in there?
Yes.
Vodka?
No.
No. Rum?
Yes.
Oh, it's rum. Okay.
Nice aged rum.
Oh, it should be good
Yeah, that's
at
what I was
this
thinking,
point.
yeah.
Not far off from. Is it a Mai Tai?
Mine has got a lot of other stuff in it as well.
It does. It's got the orgeat.
Yeah,
Syrup, the
yeah.
almond syrup,
And
rather than.
and it's got falernum, and it's got a load
Yes.
of. I did consider a Mai Tai, but I think there's one or two things I didn't have because there's quite a lot of stuff in a Mai Tai. It's multi-ingrediented.
It's very tasty,
Very
tropical.
tasty, but I don't-
But yeah,
yes,
but this is the Mai Tai's horrible brother who has been rejected by the family. That carries a terrible curse as it roams the land. But so is there anything else I'm missing? How many much?
No, that's it.
Oh, was that it?
That's it.
That should work.
Well, exactly. That's what I thought.
Rum.
I thought nice and a good quantity of rum.
Yeah.
With some amaretto, some nice almondy warmth, with a bit of pineapple, and I put the cherries in there because you have cherries in a Dundee Cake.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
So 2 Dundee Cake things, and I thought, okay, that's not going to be so bad. It's just there's too much pineapple. It's too. It's just.
I never thought I'd say this. You know what I think is lacking is a sugar syrup.
Maybe.
Because amaretto is sweet, but it's a different sweetness. This sounds stupid, but sugar syrup gives a different type of sweetness than just the alcohol sweetness. Thicker, even. Nicer mouthfeel. I don't know. I'm spiraling here. But it's all right. I'll still drink it.
Yeah.
It's just not... It should be yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, lovely.
It should
Delicious.
be. It should be nicer than it is.
I'm going to eat the cherries because I'm sad.
That's what they're there for. I could. Oh, you know what?
What are you thinking, Nick?
Thinking I could probably cobble together something approaching a Mai Tai.
Ooh, do you want to do that instead? It's up to you.
Also, bear in mind we have got 2 episodes to get through.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you. I'm like, we can't get absolutely... And you've had a glass of wine.
No, I've had a glass of wine.
This is fine. But I don't know. Can you remix this with something Mai Tai?
No, I'd have to make new ones.
Strokey beard, or we throw this out.
Oh, I'm not throwing it out.
Okay, not throwing it out. That's fine. I was battered last night, and that means today it won't really touch the sides. That's what happens to me after the session.
Now you approach this like a challenge, I feel. I'm going to say, want to bet?
Normally, I don't go, give me the strongest thing you've got. On second thoughts, I'll have a very strong cocktail. Way. But yeah, usually if I'm using mixer drinks or beers or stuff, I don't really get drunk after the sesh. And I'm talking myself into a grave now.
Let's see what happens during the drinks break.
I have got a drinks break in. Do you want to see what happens then?
Let's see what happens then.
Right, let's stick with this for now.
Stick with this for now.
Stick with it.
I've
It is a
already drunk half of it.
No, Jesus. Okay. It is a downhill... Why is it it's called the downhill racer?
I have no idea.
Well, it's shit. The downhill racer is going to lose. It's bad. It's disappointing. It's a mediocre car. It's like they're driving in a race, but in a fucking Ford Mondeo. Do they still make those?
I don't know. Car. I don't know.
It's car. Well, we've got a new version. It's a slight step up from the almond martini, but I don't think we've achieved perfection yet.
No.
But with the downhill racer sort of in hand, begrudgingly.
Shall I just blend a Dundee Cake?
Well, I did bring you a panettone.
You did. Shall I just put it this? I've got a blender. We could just do that with some rum and some amaretto.
Stop it. I'd actually would totally do that.
That'd be great.
Or get the panettone that I brought you, because I couldn't find a Dundee cake. And they're very dense. But put it in a bowl, drizzle it with the stuff you just said.
What do we have in the classic panettone? What do we have in here?
Well, it's got candied fruits and breads.
See, candied fruits. Okay, yeah, Dundee cake, candied fruits. So we need some almonds. There's probably a lack of an almond, I think. In here.
I don't think they put an almond in there.
So we could... See, I imagine it would be quite relatively dry.
Dundee cake's very dense.
No, in this one.
Oh, that panettone, yeah, because you dippy.
So that's what I'm thinking. We could soak it in some amaretto.
Yeah.
To get a bit of moisture and a bit of an almondy
and
flavour.
an almondy flavour.
And an almondy flavour.
Yeah.
And we've got some nice cherries as well.
We do. We could do that. Also, what's happened to you?
I've got to help now.
Because you've got a crazy look in your eye going, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
I'm going to fucking do it. You fucking dare me.
I'm fine with that. I just have to get through this
All right,
episode.
then fine. Let's get on with it then. I won't go and create a masterpiece.
Yeah, that was the thing holding you back. Me going, are you all right? Are you fucking all right?
Shut up.
Let's do that in the drinks break. We're going to do something in the drinks break because this is fun.
I'm going to eat panettone. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, yeah, good. Then I lovingly brought you. Do I get any of the stuff that I brought? No, I get shoved out of the room while you are alone with the panettone for a bit.
This works.
Merry Christmas, everyone! So, with our drinks in hand...
That never happened in the first episode.
What, Merry Christmas?
No, any of that.
What do you mean? No. Yes, it's almost as if...
It's almost as if it's new.
It's almost as if it's new. It's almost as if we're just doing stuff.
Really shouldn't have had that glass of wine. Right to my head.
No, I'm very glad you've had the glass of wine. This is brilliant. This is great. Imagine if we had done this in the first episode. Everyone would be like, no.
Yeah, no.
No. They seem unhinged. Now people have come to love us. They've grown to like us. Okay, with the drinky firmly in hand... You're not letting go of it.
Have we not got that far?
No.
Oh, God, come on.
Yeah. Are you ready for a story, Nick?
Yes, let's get on with it.
Right, let us revisit the story from episode 1. Do you remember what it was?
Palmer? No,
that was episode 3.
That was the chicken.
Yes. That I do sometimes want to revisit that, but I think we hit perfection with that one anyway. No, it's not Palmer. For a long time I thought it was. It was a doctor.
It was a doctor. Dr Dundee.
It wasn't Dr. Dundee.
No.
It wasn't Crocodile Dundee.
Not Crocodile Dundee either. That was my next option.
Shall I stop you?
Okay.
Just because, you know.
Probably for the best.
No, it is the story of Dr. George Henry Lamson.
That's the one.
The Wimbledon Poisoner. Now, this remains a story that's not actually been covered by a lot of podcast episodes. Well, I was revisiting, I'd search and see, has anyone sort of covered it in, some of the history podcasts I listen to, or like revisiting. He just doesn't turn up a lot. And it's a great Victorian story.
He's really boring.
No, he's not. He's brilliant. Brilliant. But he is in a couple of the great books that we started with. And I dove into the research a bit more. So I'm just going to refresh the story for your ears. Because neither of us remember what we did.
I have no idea what's going on. Or what happened back then.
It is a proper Victorian poisoner, the best kind. We have a doctor, we have drugs, we have shenanigans. But there's also cake in the story too.
Okay.
Yes. It takes place in 1881, most of the action, in the most gruesome, God-forsaken place of all, Bournemouth. We'll get to Bournemouth. But who was George Henry Lamson? Well, he was an American.
Okay.
You seem like you were going to say something.
No, I was... No, okay. I may have done.
You had a thought. It's gone away now.
It's gone.
He was an American. He was born in New York in 1852. He was the son of a reverend. Family were quite well off. Respectable.
Very good.
Good, respectable family. His father ended up being a minister. He did some ministering in Florence, South Carolina.
Okay.
I think a lot of people reference this Florence reference, this is an aside really, comes up a lot in Dr. Lamson's life. He's often travelling to Florence and people go, he was going to Italy.
It was Italy, okay.
Well, maybe he was going to Italy, but actually I think his one of the reports was that his father worked in Florence in America, and I had to look it up and go, South Carolina. There may be many more, who knows. But that by the by, he was born. He exists. Yes. The most fascinating thing is that his great grand uncle was Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, can I remember that? Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
His great grand uncle.
Yeah, it's God, you have to look at it.
I mean, that's stretching a family tree to his breaking point, really, isn't it?
Most of the resources write about his father. His grandfather was such and such, who was a senator, who also happened to be the son of this person, and his brother's wife's brother sister's wife's brother, sort of, maybe, is Alexander Hamilton.
Sister's wife's maid's tennis partner
Yes.
was Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, he came to call one day and he went, "Hello, I'm working on a musical." And they were like, "Well, no, no, you strange man." But that aside, that's where people go and go, "This is Hamilton." Other than that, not much is known about his childhood.
Is that where this came from?
No, it came much later. No, we were very serious in the first episode until it degenerated. All we know is that he studied medicine in the USA and he also went to Paris for a spell to study. And he would go on to serve in the Franco-Prussian War. There were great rumblings in Prussia. And he was part of the French Ambulance Corps, which he joined in 1871. He was 19. Now, this period of his life, he works apparently very hard, very successful in his war effort. He serves in the war. He would end up being given the Legion of Honor.
Nice.
By France. He worked very hard. His skills as a surgeon were recognised and they helped during combat. He would then also volunteer as a surgeon in Romania and Serbia. So
well-travelled. Oh, it gets bad a bit.
Hard-working, desperate times. Really, in not nice circumstances. He could have just set up shop at home in America.
No, indeed, but he's out in sort of war-torn places and on battlefields and chopping people's legs off and...
Yeah, not even when there was a battle. It was like, "Give me that leg."
No, it's just cannonballs flying around the place.
There were. And we talked about cannon last week, didn't we, on the show?
Did we?
Oh, no, this is by the time this comes out, no idea when that would have been. We discovered when the first use of cannon was on
Oh,
boats.
we did, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
you did. You looked that up. You were very pleased with yourself.
I was.
Yeah.
Smug, I think, was the term.
I'm not sure what drove this wanderlust. I did try and dig into some biographies of him. Really, the resources are limited and they're all coming from the same point. And as we've discovered over the many episodes we've done, it's people sort of making an opinion about things that are printed as fact. And it's like, where are you backing that up from? So really, we don't know what drove him to work like that, whether it's the work ethic, whether it's his father as a minister and kind of like go and serve.
Well, spirit of adventure.
Yeah, you had to travel.
Just, when you're young, you want to go and explore the world and do these things and look around.
And also, one thing he got out of all of that was a pretty serious addiction to morphine.
Like what happens when you're young.
Yes, and as we said in the first episode, Sweet Lady M. He was in Sweet Lady M's grips.
Did we say that?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he loved her. Yeah, she held him tight. Did all the stuff, the drugs.
That ladies do.
That ladies do. You were appalled then, you're appalled now. Sweet Lady M. It's actually Sweet Lady H is meant to be
Right.
different one, but I just fuck it. You know what?
You just made shit up.
I just make shit up. Obviously. So that's the bit I can make up, all right? Everything else I've got to check the resources for. But morphine, I'll call what I bloody well like. So he comes back from war, and he settles in England. And he's got this morphine addiction. He's seen terrible things. He's done very hard work. And also there's morphine lying around. So you're like, I'll have a go on that.
Why not?
When he's in England, he meets a lovely young lady, Kate John. John is the surname. Not her first name, obviously. John. He met John.
Yes, okay.
John Kate. This is weird.
There's a lovely lady called John.
He's like, really? Wait a minute, I'm suspicious of you. No, Kate, John, the John family. She's 25, so beautiful, lovely, very good family, very wealthy family. She's got an interesting familial setup, but we'll get to that. And they are married on the Isle of Wight.
Nice.
In 1878, and they settle in Bournemouth.
Okay.
Bournemouth, and this is where Dr Lanson's going to set up his practice. Now, while researching this earlier, I followed the tradition that we have adapted since doing episode 1 of like, let's just look up some interesting history of the places and stuff, not padding at all or anything. Not
Bournemouth.
It's the only reason I include this because I was reading a history of Bournemouth, because you go onto the odd website.
Your Wikipedia takes you down weird holes.
It does, and this is a wiki. This is just, here's the history of Bournemouth, and I for some reason found it hilarious of how Bournemouth was started. And like, until the 19th century, they wrote that the area in which Bournemouth now stands was just heathland where cattle grazed and smugglers. A lot of smugglers. But they sort of paint this picture that in 1810, a man named Lewis Tregonwell came along to the area that would now be known as Bournemouth. Barren lands, smugglers, hide. Visited the beach, and his wife loved the area and told him to build a house there. And I just have this image of the wife just going, build me a house! He's like, Jesus, okay. So he just bought land and then built a house, and then everyone went, hey, the seaside's quite nice in the Victorian era.
Right.
And then they built up more and more and more. He bought 8.5 acres of land, built a house and cottages for his butler. Nice gig. And then in 1836, the first seaside resort would be built. And by 1881, when most of the action takes place in the story, population was 16,859. There you go. Yeah. That woman's kids, the first one.
Great.
It's like, build me a house and I'll make babies. I will build a town. I was slightly hungover while writing that bit, and I found that hilarious. I just was obsessed with the idea of how Bournemouth was created. Bournemouth is really depressing now. I mean, it's fine, but it's not its heyday anymore. No. You know, actually, though, the little fact, Bournemouth,
more little facts about Bournemouth.
Little facts about Bournemouth.
Oh,
one of the people who contributed to its growth, Percy Shelley, son of Percy and Mary Shelley.
Oh.
There you go. That made you go, ooh. So that's good.
Contributed to its growth. What? Bought a Twix there once.
Those famous 19th century Twixes.
Passing through.
You know, back in the 19th century, Twixes were huge. They were the proper size back then. None of that small stuff you get now. That's when chocolate bars were chocolate bars.
Contributed to the development of Bournemouth.
He was basically, he lived there and he helped to fund like the railway and things. So yeah, he did. Fuck you. He was stalked by Frankenstein the whole time, who was a doctor. So Bournemouth, anyway, that's done.
Get
that's
on with it, my God.
All should be well and good for this couple in this lovely, thriving seaside town. They have a nice setup. But, as I said, Dr Lamson is deep in the grip of drugs, of his harsh mistress, of Lady M. And she comes calling and you got to pay the... I'll move on.
Please.
He's so deep into his morphine addiction that the practice that he has set up very soon runs into problems. He should just be being a normal GP, whatever ailments. It's really not sort of crossed off of like if he specialises in a particular area or if he is just being a general practitioner. He's using any of the drugs he gets in. So it's kind of people come in like, I have a rash on my arm. Morphine, that's what you need. One for you, one for me, one for me, and maybe some for you. All of the profits are sucked into his habit. He is trying to raise money and he's just not good with money, and also he's funding an addiction. It just spirals and spirals and spirals. His wife and her family have provided most of the money for the practice to be set up. I don't know if any money came from his parents. They don't really figure in the story until the end.
Right, because they're in the States.
They're in the States.
Yes.
Yeah, they're in the States. So I think they probably provided him money to get started, but he's not going with his hand out. They're not really present, so I guess they wouldn't probably. But he's writing bad checks soon. Loans are taken out, they're not being paid back. The bank starts turning down his requests for credit. It's just all getting very grim. It's spiraling out of control. But then, wouldn't you know it, he comes into some luck when his brother-in-law dies.
Well, how very handy.
Yeah, exactly. Flush, £700. Comes to the wife, to Kate. Now, Kate had 4 siblings. There's 5 of them in total, I believe. And her parents were wealthy linen merchants.
Nice.
But they dead.
Okay.
They died in a terrible linen accident. They were trying to fold a fitted sheet and it just got out of hand.
Double machine death.
Double machine death? What?
I don't know,
oh no, did they go through the mangle?
Yeah, they put through a mangle.
I don't know if linen factories have mangles, but I guess they have to wash them.
You've got to squeeze the water out somehow.
But yeah,
my nan used to have a mangle.
Did she?
In her kitchen.
Nice.
She used to have a mangle.
Did she used to use it?
She did.
Did she use it on you?
No.
If you touch the cake, your hand goes in.
Clothing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is it though? Actually, I don't know why I'm saying it's cool.
Yeah, but that was going into probably late 80s, and she still had a mangle.
But then it's one of those like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix
very,
it.
Very trad indeed.
Yeah, it's a very nan energy, isn't it? To go, no, the mangle's always suited me.
It's always worked in the past. Got me through the war, that mangle.
Again, I have a memory of my grandmother, Granny, in the kitchen and doing the washing up, and we had a dishwasher. And I was like, Granny, just put it in the dishwasher. She's like, no. I'm fine here. I like to do the washing up. I don't trust that. It's like, what do you think it's going to do? That's too fancy for me. No, I will be using that and everything. Notions. So, yeah. But how did we get on to mangles?
Say what mangle death.
Mangle death. And parents have been killed in a horrible mangling accident as linen merchants. But it's left the kids very well off because they'd set up a trust fund for the children. So they will all inherit, but they have to inherit when they come to age.
Yes.
So the different siblings, Kate has had her inheritance, so she's quite wealthy. The other sibling, She's got a sister who's married on, and then she has 2 brothers, younger brothers, who are under the age of 21, so they haven't received their share of the trust. And if anything happens to those boys before they come of age and also get married, it will go to the remaining siblings. It will be split between them. So her brother Herbert, who's sometimes called Hubert, and I prefer the name Hubert. Hubert, but it's definitely Herbert. But someone once wrote Hubert, and I like that. He died in 1879, and Kate got his money. So they get £700, which is a hefty sum. And Dr. Lansom's like, hey, this is an easy way to get cash, apparently. So he gets it through. Great. We can sort out the business. No, he squanders it, of course. By 1881, he is taking secret trips to London. He says he's going back to the USA to visit his family. And he's actually pawning his own equipment. He's selling his watch. He's selling all of his medical instruments. He's borrowing from anyone he can just to get more cash, and the cash never lasts. It always goes down the drain. His business flounders, and the Bournemouth Medical Society revoke his license and say, you need to stop because you're claiming to have qualifications that you do not have. Probably just in an effort to make more money. It's like, yep, I can do eyes, teeth, I'll turn your cat into a dog, whatever you want, basically. Money, please. Originally, when we told this story, there was one version of that where he wasn't going to London. He does actually go back to the USA to set up a business or to talk to his family. It's unsuccessful. He comes back on the boat and he's literally borrowing money from people on the boat. There's another doctor on there and he borrows £5 from him, which he can do because he's a doctor. He's respectable, absolutely. But also he's got a bit of a twitch about him and was like, okay. He seems to think that the only course of action really to save him in this desperate grip of addiction is the inheritance that is going to be coming to Kate when the remaining younger brother, Percy, shuffles off the earth. His sickly brother-in-law. Now, Percy, yes, is sickly. He is 18 in 1881. His share of the inheritance will come to him, as I said, when he's 21, but he's paralysed down one side of his body and he doesn't have full use of his legs. And he's in a wheelchair as a result. And he has a curvature of the spine as well, so he's not well. But, and this is where it's just so sad, he's so optimistic and happy. He's just really just cheery, of a good disposition. And he is at a boarding school. He is at Blenheim House boarding school. And his headmaster would later testify in court and he would talk about Percy. And you're like, oh my God. He was just like, Percy was always cheerful. He was always happy. And he really tried to get involved in stuff. He would only get like lamenting and kind of melancholia, or he would seem to be in a sad disposition when he used to watch the sports and know he couldn't play. And he'd watch all the others and just wish that he could do it. I wish I
could be out there.
But he still is like, no, well, I'll still work hard and I'll still do something. Percy, greatest hero of them all. Everyone loves noble, brave Percy. And Percy loves his brother-in-law. Loves Dr. Lamson. Yeah, absolutely loves him. Looks up to him. But Dr. Lamson's mind now has turned to murder. No. Not a flutter that time. First time I ever did that voice, you were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Oh, yeah, you just
whatever.
Oh, Sinead's doing a bit. Whatever.
Yeah, she's doing a thing again.
So throughout 1881, Lamson is trying to sell everything he owns for drug money, but he starts showing a real interest in Percy's health. Oh, will the lad live to see his 21st birthday? He seems very sickly, you know. He seems very ill. On a summer holiday that year to the Isle of Wight, Lamson starts giving Percy pills and provides him some pills. Oh, this will help you. This will be good for your health, good vitamins, and, you know, ease any pains and aches that you have. And Percy takes one of the pills and immediately feels quite ill and goes, I don't think I'm going to take them. They just don't agree with me.
No, yes, indeed.
It's nothing wrong with them.
No.
They're just not for me, yeah. And then Lamson starts sending pills to the headmaster of his school because, of course, he's taken a very keen interest in Percy and his education and his well-being, and he sends them to the headmaster saying, yeah, give these to Percy, this is good, I'm his doctor, you see. And the same thing happens again. Percy takes pills, like, I'm really not okay with these, and the headmaster's like, yeah, let's just sweep these away, never mind. He would say, it was one report, he said he supplied powders which he said were quinine with medicinal wafers made of flour paste.
Who doesn't love a medicinal wafer?
Who doesn't love a medicinal wafer? Delicious. But he's like, I don't want the weird wafers. Percy is just simply not taking his medicine.
How rude.
So Dr. Lamson thinks I need to do something about this. Takes a little trip to the school in December 1881 to take tea with the boy and the headmaster, and he's going to bring some lovely, lovely cake for the journey. And I think that's time for a break.
Oh, God, yes.
Nick, we have our drinks.
We do.
You made a Mai Tai.
I did.
You did.
Got carried away.
I'm so excited. Okay. Love a Mai Tai.
Never had a Mai Tai.
That other one was fine, but it was just, it wasn't terrible. Huh. It was just a thing. But a Mai Tai, so I can't remember it. Well, clearly we couldn't remember what was in it. But you sprayed something on mine at the end, and I'm confused.
I did.
Okay, right. So do we dive in and taste? Okay. Merry Christmas. Oh, that's much better. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good.
Love it. It's sharp in the right ways, sweet. What did you do, though? What did you do? So in a Mai Tai, rum?
Yes.
Dark rum?
Yes.
Dark rum. Okay. The falernum. The almond syrup. So orgeat. Orgeat. What? Lime?
Yes.
Lemon? Lime juice.
Yep.
Did you spray absinthe on this?
Yes.
Why is there absinthe on this? Why would you do that?
That's what it says.
Why? Why would you hurt me like that? You put absinthe on it.
So it's what the recipe says.
Oh, differs, I'm assuming.
Yes.
The gods. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Was anything I'm missing?
Yes.
Oh, a child's laughter.
Yes.
Right. Sweet Lady M. I don't know. What else?
So rum. This recipe calls for pineapple rum. Don't have pineapple rum, so I use a bit of pineapple juice that I did have.
Fair.
And some rum to make up the quantity. Curacao. So some triple sec in there.
Woohoo.
Yep, lime juice, orgeat. There is this Serrano in here. There is amaretto.
Oh God, yes. Oh God.
There's
Right.
falernum. There's some mint going on in there. There's a wee bit of mint, and then a spritz of absinthe.
And this is Difford's version of a Mai Tai.
Yes, indeed.
That is sensational.
A lot of shit going on in there, but it's actually very tasty.
Oh, it's so good. As I said, I had a Mai Tai last night in a bar, which was very tasty. But this is another level.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so ready to tell you the rest of this story, Nick. There we are. Let's down this quickly and then go clubbing. As I mentioned before the break, before this happened, Dr. Lamson is heading to Percy's school, cake in hand. He's going to go and see Percy because he needs to check on the boy's health. He arrives on the 3rd of December, 1881, for the meeting he has set up with the headmaster and Percy. He's going to have tea.
Nice.
They're going to have a lovely tea. Yep, so he comes holding a big old black bag. We can
He's
picture
a doctor, though. That's Gladstone bag. So.
I don't think at this stage it's like a Gladstone bag. I think it's like a bin liner, pretty much. Because he turns up and he does not look well. He is just emaciated. He's so skinny, just wide-eyed, not okay. The headmaster comments on it later on, like going, you're a lot thinner than the last time I saw you. But he arrives for this tea, and Percy has to be carried upstairs from his rooms to this lovely tea, and he's so happy to see his brother-in-law. Oh, hello, Dr. Lamson. And the headmaster's like, okay. So they settle down to chat about the businesses of the day and everything, and tea. And the headmaster says to Dr. Lamson, sherry, a glass of sherry. Lovely glass of sherry. And Lamson says, yes, and I always take sugar with mine.
Sugar with his sherry?
Mm-hmm. And the headmaster's like, what?
Okay.
He's like, yes, I have sugar with my alcohol because it counteracts the effects of alcohol.
It's true.
Master's like, that's literally the opposite of what it does. That's weird. You're weird. Okay, but fine. I'll get some extra sugar. And he brings in the sugar. Dr. Lamson puts a spoonful of sugar in his sherry glass and then stirs it with a penknife. Stirs it in with a knife.
He's a classy man.
Yeah, it's not a settling image, is it? That he's sitting there stirring his drink with a knife. And everyone's like, okay, fine. So his grades in Latin have been great, actually. Now, while they're talking, he opens up his black bag and he pulls out the Dundee Cake.
Nice.
There is the Dundee Cake. It's pre-sliced, many reports would have. 3 slices specifically. I'm thinking there's a massive red flag in one of them because that's the slice he hands over.
Skull and crossbones in sugar on the top.
Here we are. Yeah. Some reports have it that the cake is not pre-sliced, but he slices it with the penknife he's just been stirring his drinks with. Still unsettling. But most of them say it's pre-sliced, and he very specifically gives a slice to Percy and a slice to the headmaster and a slice for himself. And they're like, ooh, yum, cake.
Cake.
And so they're nibbling away at the cake. And while they're nibbling, Dr. Lamson also pulls more stuff out of his big black bag of mystery. He takes out some pill capsules. Okay. So, new kind of way of administering medicine.
Yes.
Yes, gelatine. pill capsules. And he makes a big show of extolling their virtues. He's been to the USA, he's got these pill capsules. Oh, it's a marvellous way of administering all of the healthcare that you need. And he goes to Percy and he takes one of the capsules, he opens it up and he fills it with sugar. Same sort of sugar. He keeps asking for sugar and he's like, oh yeah, he's made a big deal about sugar being there. And then he puts some sugar-like substance into the capsule and seals it up and he says to Percy, Percy, you're a champion pill taker. Some have it as you're a swell pill taker. Take this and show Mr. Bedbrook here how easily it may be swallowed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Percy's an idiot. Percy just takes it. Okay.
Well,
I love you.
Trusting.
Trusting
young man.
Trusting, and he only has my best interests at heart.
Exactly.
Takes the pill. As soon as Percy takes the pill, Dr. Lamson gets up and goes, I'm leaving! I must leave immediately.
He's not a subtle man, is he?
No. He says he has a train to catch. And I found this since the first recording, found this in the court reports as well, of the headmaster giving the account of this. And he says, Lamson has made his proclamation that he needs to catch a train. He says, I at once looked at the time card to see the next train for London. It was then 7:20 or thereabouts. And I told him the next train left at 7:21. And advised him, yeah, you'd probably miss it.
Unlikely to get that one.
Yes. And then, you can hang around a bit longer. And he was like, no, I'm sure I can make it. Because I have to catch a train at 8 o'clock in the morning to London Bridge en route for the continent. Goodbye. Ran out. He told him he was going to Florence, so he had to get the train within a minute.
Good
the
luck.
train station is not by the school.
Is it not nearby?
No, famously not. No,
Okay.
generally, you don't build a school on a train station.
Might do.
Maybe that was the one. He pauses only in his run to get the train to pull the headmaster aside and go, oh, Percy doesn't look too well. I'm sure he's not long for this world. He won't make 21. 21? Why did I say that? Never mind. Okay, he's going to die. Goodbye. And runs out of the building. I may be acting this up.
I feel some potential sort of,
It's what happened. He runs out of the
word
building.
for word.
Yeah. Off he goes, Percy waving while chewing on the pills. The headmaster like, this was a bad tea. As soon as he's gone, poor Percy rapidly starts feeling ill. Within an hour, he is not doing well. He complains to the headmaster that he has stomach pains, he's feeling woozy, he's taken to bed. He collapses in his room. He's found on the floor. He is vomiting and retching black fluid. He is contorting, he is thrashing and going into convulsions. By 11 p.m. that night, Percy is dead.
Yeah.
Poor innocent Percy.
Oh.
Who just wanted to play sports, Nick.
Just want to have a nice time.
Just wanted to have a nice time. The school knows that something is wrong here. And this is refreshing in this case. Of the many, many more afterwards, they go, cholera.
Yes, it's fine.
They're like, well, this
People
is
die.
Yeah. People die at school. The headmaster's like, well, I haven't killed him, so someone else must have. Yeah. The headmaster at least is like, okay, this has just been a horrible day, so something has happened. Percy has been poisoned. The police are called. A post-mortem is carried out eventually on his corpse, and the doctors find that he has been poisoned by...
Oh, I don't know.
Do you remember?
Was it arsenic?
No. There will be no alarms.
My God.
No. He has been poisoned by aconitin. And I did not pronounce that right in the first episode. No, I did just now.
Did you?
Aconitin. I looked it up since then. I've always pronounced it as aconitin. And there's aconitine. And there's all sorts of different versions, but it's apparently aconitin.
Is that how? I've never said it that way.
I watched 2 videos today. I watched one from the Poison Garden, actually. Another
they should
expert.
know.
But I always thought it was aconitine or aconitin. Like that, but it's aconitin, apparently.
Oh, well, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Now, but people may dispute this. People can say what they like.
They can.
But they can, absolutely. But our famous, lovely vegetable alkaloid poison is found in his body, and it is, of course, monkshood, as we know and love it. Monkshood, wolfsbane, if you are trying to kill wolves, or Dracula.
Or monks.
Or monks. They need to be stopped. They need to be stopped with their hoods. So called because the flowers are shaped like monks' hoods.
Absolutely.
And weird shit. It's also called the Queen of Poisons. And it grows wild, and people eat the roots randomly while looking for radishes, and then they die, which is stupid. Because why are you going, oh, you know what will really sustain me on this hike? A radish. Sorry to anyone who's died from it, but you're not listening to that, so who cares?
Very harsh against radish eaters.
Yeah, I am. I'm sick of these radish eaters ruining poisons.
Constantly in my face.
Constantly. I cannot move for radish eaters. Also, as we famously told the first time we did this story, is that the legend is that wolfsbane, monkshood, aconitum comes from Cerberus.
Yes,
From Cerberus. Drool. They drooled on some rocks, the flowers grew. It came from his drooly goodness. The drooly goodness was there. The drooly goodness, oh yes. But however you want to imagine the poison came from, whether it came from Cerberus.
That's where the poison was.
Whether from Cerberus or God or just nature. It's not nice. It's not pleasant. It attacks very, very quickly. It will attack the cells, create a rapid heartbeat, burning sensation like a red-hot poker being drawn across the tongue, tingling in the mouth, high pulse, numbness, paralysis, death. Death is one of the symptoms. Apparently.
Death is, yes, the ultimate one, I might say.
The post-mortem was carried out by Thomas Stevenson, who was a protege of Alfred Swain Taylor, who we've mentioned many times in our Victorian stories. But Stevenson, he is brilliant. And this baffled us in the beginning. And it's also worth drawing on some other quotes that we've got from him, is that he discovers the presence of the poison in the body by tasting bits of it.
Nice.
So he gets samples from the corpse and he rubs them across his tongue.
Okay.
So, yeah. Drop a bits of the stomach over his tongue, and he says it produces a burning, tingling sensation as if a hot iron has been passed over his tongue. So he's there licking the patient.
Nice.
There we are. Definitely tastes of death. They also get some samples. They have lab rats and mice as well. They get some samples of Percy's urine and shove it under the skin of a mouse. See what happens.
See what happens.
And all of Stevenson's assistants are probably just showing, just use the mice. Stop licking things. We've asked you about this many times.
He's thorough.
He is thorough, and he was very particular about this tasting or like actually sampling method. In court, when he was giving evidence later on, Stevenson would share his experience in the face of the defence trying to discredit him, and he was cool as a cucumber. He was an absolute expert, knew what he was doing, and he said in court, I have 50 to 70 vegetable preparations in my possession, and I've tasted most of them.
I mean, that's hot.
How did you make that hot?
I mean, a man with a vegetable preparation.
Doesn't everyone want that?
Well, exactly. He's prepared.
I have various soups and casseroles. I have some grated carrot.
I have some excellent stock going on here.
It's very wet. But from much licking and tasting and throwing of vegetables around, it is determined that Percy has been poisoned. They also find some pills that Lamson reportedly gave to Percy in the boy's possessions. Those contain poisons, though much would be made later that they don't know where the poison that ended up in Percy's body technically came from, the method by which it was delivered, whether it was the capsules that he made him.
Capsule or cake.
Capsule or cake. Capsule or cake. Either one, you'll choose. But he's definitely dead.
He's definitely dead either way.
And everyone's going, well, we think Dr. Lamson did this. He administered the poison. So the reports then are released about Percy's death. Lamson reads these while he's in Paris. He has run to Paris, obviously, to go away. But he reads these and he insists on going back to England and marching into Scotland Yard. I think we had it as a police station. No, it was fully Scotland Yard. He goes into and says that he wants to clear his name because he had nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this at all. I must give you information or whatever you need because I didn't poison him, which is a stupid move and a bold move. But also, if it worked out, it would have been a bold move. But it didn't. It very much didn't. So he goes in and sort of double bluffing. And he's also out of his mind on drugs and looks terrible and has run from France. So the police are like, yeah, I think we're going to arrest you. Yeah, whatever you say.
It's a slow day, so why not?
Lamson, though, is feeling pretty smug through the whole thing. And it's probably why he presents himself to Scotland Yard with such confidence, because he's like, you can't detect this poison in the body. There's no way of determining that it was that poison. And he's been known, there are records of him buying it. You can't detect it in the body.
You can't prove it? Yeah.
Well, they very much can. It's just that it's changed since his training days. When he was training, he was
a bit old, bit behind the times.
He was told by his lecturer that it could not be detected. But obviously things have moved on since then, and he's like, shit, actually. The whole thing was banking on that. But because he's just been out of his mind on drugs.
He should have been reading the journals.
He wasn't reading the journals.
Should have been keeping on top of things.
He wasn't keeping up his practice.
Yeah.
The defence in court, when this goes to the Old Bailey and Lamson is on trial, the defence have this argument they try and use, and I think it was an expression that was used in the book The Secret Poisoner by Linda Statmann, which is absolutely amazing, where they are arguing this cadaveric alkaloids are present. It is, I'm going to explain this very quickly. There's much more detail about it, but there was a case where it was found that the putrefaction of a corpse or in a corpse could produce alkaloids. So it's the roundabout old way of saying, didn't these just occur naturally? This alkaloid poison that's been found, maybe that was nature, in the same way that later people would go, arsenic is in the ground, or people were taking arsenic for medicine.
Yeah,
so
it's a natural occurrence during decomposition.
Yeah,
but
those arguments have already been taking place. You know, this is 1881, so everyone is, while those very nuanced arguments about, like, we need to prove that you've actually administered it, don't really come into this at all. Everyone's like, no, he definitely did it. And the argument about this cadaveric alkaloid is crushed by Stevenson taking the stand, I think, and explaining, I have many vegetables, I've tasted them all. Like, well, stop bragging about that. There's this man poisoned. Oh no, he was definitely poisoned. Would you like to see me eat a vegetable?
I'll lick it.
I'll lick everyone in here, honestly. They're like, this trial has become sexy. We didn't expect this. The headmaster also takes a stand and gives great detail about Percy, about the meeting and all of the strange behaviour, where we get the sources from. It takes the jury 25 minutes to find Dr Lamson guilty of murder. He is convicted and he has been given the death sentence. There is a brief reprieve, or a seek to reprieve him from the death penalty. It's delayed, certainly, because his family in America try to help him escape the noose. And they go all the way to the president, to Chester A. Arthur. Chester A. Arthur writes to the Home Office asking for a reprieve for him, to, like, let him get out of the death penalty. They make all of these comments. I don't know whether it's his vague connection to various senators and Alexander Hamilton, the family's prominence in America. They also argue that his whole family's crazy.
Okay.
They try and go insanity plea, which he wasn't submitting.
They're
but they're
all
like,
mad.
no, he's crazy, because so many members of his family ended up being committed to the Bloomingdale Asylum for the Insane. Yeah. And then they turned into a department store. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, we made that joke the first time round. It's still it's just gentle humour. Gentle humour. It's quite, it's funny-ish. I thought I'd let it land there. And then we'd acknowledge what it is. Dr Lamson would go to the gallows at Wandsworth Prison on the 28th of April, 1882. And apparently in his final days, his family, his father, came out and said, I would have paid all of his bills. I would have paid his debts if he'd only asked.
Did ask.
Where the fuck was he? Yeah, very convenient.
In America.
Yeah, very convenient after the fact, though, isn't it? Yeah, but then, yeah, maybe he just wasn't in contact with his son.
Well, exactly. I mean, how's he to know? This is time before communication is not easy.
The time before mobile phones.
Before mobile phones and before the email.
And texting. Because that's what you do when you need money from your family members. You do text them about it. Like, hi, send $.
Send cash. I've been kidnapped.
Send cash. I've been kidnapped and also hungry. Whatever. Just send me money.
I'm going to marry a Nigerian prince, and he's got lots of money. But,
but I need the processing fee.
I need the fee to get the money.
But there you go. That is the story, again, of the Wimbledon Poisoner. Revisited, remastered for our delightful audience
Marvellous.
for the Christmas time. Yeah, it's a good story.
It's a good story. And I must admit, I remember none of that. Because over the years, I think they had sort of several random poisons have been sort of like smooshed together in my head.
Yes.
And so I was like, yeah, so Palmer was the chicken guy.
Yes.
So I had him. And then, yeah, a bit of Lamson, and also Pritchard with the big beard.
Yeah, with the big beard.
He was in there as well. And I was going, when does this become in? Oh, no, that's someone else. So it was good to, like, narrow down. No, this is what happened.
That was Lamson. And it's nice to revisit these because, exactly as you said, you forget those great Victorian poisons. There were so many of them.
Yes.
Oh, you know, like,
who weren't that
infinite.
great, really.
They weren't great. They were just hilarious.
They were all idiots.
They were just ridiculous. And just the stories behind them. Yeah. It's just all of that incidental information.
Well, you can't trace this poison. Well, you couldn't 30 years ago, but I'm sure nothing's changed.
I know Google wasn't a thing, but books were. Books very much were. And also asking another doctor. That's all you needed to do. Yeah. Really. A little bit of research. But yes, that was the revisited version of that story. We added in a bit more flavour in there. We added in some more resources. Hope you enjoyed it.
Added in Mai Tai.
And Mai Tai we added in.
This has gone down.
It's so good.
Terrifyingly well.
Yeah, it's gone for Nick.
Got another recording to do yet. I'm get scared.
That one has mint in it, though, so that'll just liven us up. Maybe you'll have a coffee. So, there you go. What do you think, people? What do you think of the revisited story of Dr. Lamson, the Wimbledon Poisoner? What do you think of his motives and of his methods, of the craziness around that story? What do you like in this version that we didn't include in the first one?
Do you think we've changed much? I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts about how does the first episode compare to the 200 and whatever it is episode.
Yeah, this million episode. And like, I've heard the episode before, and we're not trying to do a like for like. We're not trying to go, there's a difference between like remastering something for audio quality, which no problem with doing, and then just taking the story and go, we're just going to tell the same story again. Obviously, the story is the story.
Yes, there's only so much variance you can have. But...
Yeah, I'm also trying not to do the same jokes or stuff. If jokes come out that were in the first one, honestly, that was us not remembering it. And also we got a bit unhinged and drunk as well.
There is that.
Yes, do tell us what you think.
But it's Christmas.
Yeah. Tell us what you think of the different versions of this episode. Jump on the comments. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your musings. Most importantly, mix up a Mai Tai.
Yes.
The tropical version of a Dundee Cake. With the downhill racer.
Don't bother.
No.
Don't bother.
It's only okay.
It's alright, but nah.
Or take the basics and twiddle with them.
Yeah, less pineapple.
Less pineapple?
Less pineapple.
Less pineapple, more
Or just make a Mai Tai.
Just make a Mai Tai.
Really good.
Yeah, Difford's version of the Mai Tai. Ooh, exceptional.
Tasty.
There's lots of versions of Mai Tais out there, actually. Pretty easy to make and a good party drink. It's not very wintry.
I need to get some new tiki glasses.
Yeah, tiki glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be good.
Tiki mugs. Quite fun.
Do let us know if there are other older episodes that you would like us to consider revisiting or remastering in the future. We're very happy to think about that. We obviously have lots of extra content over on Patreon. Go and join us on Patreon to support the show, get new episodes, get new bonus material behind the scenes. And next week we'll be continuing our remastering journey with the story of the Bradford Sweets poisoning.
Yeah.
Remember to leave us a review on Apple iTunes. If you love the show, tell your friends about it and tell us where you are enjoying listening to this story, where you are from, what you are drinking as you listen to our episodes. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, guys. We have been the people inside the Poisoner's Cabinet. We will see you very soon. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.
Bye.